Hi guys, and welcome to part 2 of the Average Joe learning to downwind sup. I hope you enjoyed the first one. If you haven't seen the first one, I'd highly recommend having a quick look at that. I know it's a long one. I'm going to try and keep this one a little bit shorter. So let's get straight into it. Look, you'll see from the intro that I actually finally made the infamous Flatwater paddle up. Look, it was a challenge. It took me about 9 sessions to get up onto Flatwater. And there were 2 bits of kit that I talked about in the video to help me get up. The first bit of kit is this paddle. So the paddle, the PPC, this is a downwind specific paddle from PPC, full carbon, super light. And I think the big thing about it was the blade. So the blade is 105 inches squared, and it just seems to just help that little bit of oomph to get up. It's really stable in the water. Look, I don't know too much about paddles, but I definitely felt this more comfortable and gave me a little bit more power, and that's all I needed to get up onto the foil. I mentioned before I was slapping the water, and this just got me over that little ridge and able to start the pumping technique. So yeah, really chuffed with this. This is not adjustable, it's a single length, but I got that right with my adjustable first of all. I'm super happy with this paddle. Second bit of kit. Now, unfortunately, I can't talk about it. So I asked and asked, but unfortunately the manufacturers, they haven't released that bit of kit yet. It is a foil, it's a front wing, and that thing was just so easy to get up. But unfortunately, as I said, until they release it, I can't put it out onto this platform. So you're gonna have to wait, I'm afraid. Look, it's hugely rewarding to get up onto foil. There's no two ways about it in flat water. The question is it necessary to begin your downwind journey? And the answer to that is probably no. So I got a little bit fixated by it, particularly for this video. And I got sort of, it was a bit like a dog with a bone. I needed to get it done, but I don't think you do need to be able to flat water. In fact, actually, I know guys that are really good downwinders, like they can ace runs, way better than I am, and they can't flat water paddle up because I think it's quite kit specific, and it's not, and that kit does not necessarily translate to being able to downwind. Paddling up in bumps is way easier than being able to do it in flat water. Yes, it really does help your technique, and being on flat water is an important part of the journey, but I don't think you need to be able to flat water paddle up to be able to downwind. People out there might disagree with me, but that's my experience. I would recommend probably doing about 5 sessions. So just when you're, slapping the board on the water, it's probably the point to go, oh, you know what, I'm happy now, and then move over to the bumps, because doing it in bumps is something different. And we'll talk about that in a little bit of a moment. All right, so one thing I do want to talk about is that I did find it strangely enjoyable. So I'm not going to stop doing flat water paddle ups because I really enjoy it. I think it's a little bit, good bit of exercise. It does definitely help my technique, and I need that with the paddling. And yeah, look, I found it hugely rewarding. You can see from the full clip, which I'll go to in a moment, of when I achieved it. It's a really, really good feeling. So without further ado, let's go to that right now. Yes! That's what a master. Oh my God. That is a great feeling after so much work. Oh man. Wow. That really felt good. There was a bit of a wind behind me as well, which helped, but strokes felt good. Oh yes! That's such a good feeling. Oh, I'll have a rest and do some more. Oh. All right, so that's flat water done and dusted. You can see from that video, I was so stoked. I was massive smile on my face the whole day. I was over the moon. But anyway, that's done and dusted. Now let's move on to the next part, which is the really important bit, which is actually getting up in bumps. So what I started doing was sort of training circuits, and what I mean by that is by paddling either prone or on your knees upwind, and then just coming back downwind, basically falling, bumbling downwind until you can get up. And what I found is that the windier it is, the steeper the bumps, the easier it is to get up onto foil. And as I mentioned, I changed kit when I was doing the downwind element of it, actually in the bumps. So what I did, I reduced the size of the foil slightly, still a high aspect, but I'm using the North 1450 high aspect wing. It has a low stall speed. It's relatively slow, which is what you want to try and match the bump speed. And I found I could paddle up onto those bumps pretty easily. One thing I will say is that, look, it's a different ball game to flat water. It's really frustrating. There's lots of falling in, and there's a bit of a technique to it. But before I go into that, I'm just going to just show you just how frustrating it can be. So yeah, as I mentioned, there's a bit of a technique that I worked out. I say it worked out, like I got told it by a couple of people when I was out on the water, and they could see me struggling. So the first one is, before you start standing up, try and get some forward speed with the board. So on your knees, get a couple of strokes going. That's all it needs, just to get the foil engaging and the board moving forward, and all of a sudden the board becomes more stable. So that was the first one. The second one is learning the technique of being able to control your balance with your paddle, and almost using it as like a stabilizer. So always have the paddle moving in some direction is critical to give you that extra bit of stability. Those two things really helped my falling rate as time went on. So don't get me wrong, I'm still falling a lot, but it has dramatically reduced. So one of the other things that I think is really helpful at this point is that is using a wing to actually read the bumps. And so I did a couple of sessions with a really small wing. So the normal setup that I would not normally wing with, because it's really slow, but taking a tiny wing. So I was taking like a 3-meter wing, going upwind, and then trying to not overtake the bumps and catch the big rollers. What I'm trying to do is get as slow as I physically can before the foil stalls, if I can say that. Simulate the run that you do with a stand-up paddleboard. So really trying to keep the speed low, trying to match your speed with the bumps, and just try and get into that rhythm. And I did that quite a few times, just to get my hand in. And then once I did that, I then started with the paddle. So look, like with every video about a journey or a progression, it wouldn't be complete without an 80s style montage. So I've done one. I hope you enjoy it. Let's go to that right now.
I never really know what's going on. Look at me sometimes like all you want to do is run. Hear me out, hear me out. It's all the things you never show. There are
So there you go. Yeah, you can see it's quite a progression from the first time I ever got onto the board to actually being able to do these little training runs. Look, I'm at session 15 now, and I can quite consistently, if the conditions are good, might I add, paddle up and do these little runs going down, and it's really enjoyable. I'm really enjoying doing that. I haven't done a proper downwind run yet like that. I haven't had the conditions / balls / confidence to do it. I think I'm just about there. I'm looking forward to being able to do that soon, but at the moment I'm still just in that sort of like that training, still got my training wheels on, but I'm definitely looking forward to doing that first proper, you know, downwind, albeit it'll be controlled, it'll be small, but that's the one I'm looking forward to doing next. I feel in a position where I could probably attempt it. I'm not saying I'm going to make it. I'm just going to give it a go, and I might end up paddling the whole way. Let's see. But it's definitely the next stage of my journey. Look, the journey will continue. Like, I'm not going to do another full update like this. I will do little snippets and let you know how I'm going. Perhaps I'll do my first proper downwind run, and then in a few months maybe I'll do another one where I'm a little bit more confident. You can see how I'm going. But I'll be honest with you, I have been really surprised at how quickly I have progressed through this. Now, yeah, I obviously do have a background in foiling, so I haven't had to learn that, and I've been able to, use my other skills to be able to read the bumps and what have you. But I've been pleasantly surprised about how quickly it's taken me, and actually how much I've enjoyed it. So at the beginning, I hated it. I was really not enjoying the process, but actually as time's gone through, it's really addictive. I highly recommend people get involved in it. It's just so addictive when you get into it. It really is. Yeah, it's a challenge, but like with everything, you just got to sort of get through that, and then the rest of it, the rewards are there for sure. I would highly recommend people starting this journey. It's great fun. Look, please subscribe to the channel. It really helps us produce more content like this. We've got some really exciting reviews coming up of gear that's coming out specifically for downwinding. So I'll be releasing those in the foreseeable future. If you've got any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. I hope you've enjoyed this as much as I have making it. It's been a bit of an experiment / journey, but yeah, something that I've really enjoyed. Anyway, see you on the water soon. Cheers.